We multiply the whole formula by 2. So C2, H3O2 is your empirical formula. Questions? Any questions? Now, let's just say for a moment, okay, I'm going to alter the opening for a second. Let's say for a moment that we have okay, let's just say that this question says that we have 118 AMU up here in the question. Okay, it gave you a molar mass of 118. How would we then take that and do the second half of what we did yesterday? Okay, this is our empirical formula. This is our molar mass. What do we have to do with what we did yesterday? You take the mass that's given, which is 118, right? You divide by the mass that you guys are telling me to do what with? Add up. Y'all said find the individual mass, right? So we're going to add it up. I don't want you to go away. All right, so we had C2, H3, O2. So how many C's are there? How many H's are there? How many O's are there? The mass is 24. The mass is not 24, stupid. The mass is 12. I was multiplying in my head. H is 1. That one is 16. So when we multiply, we get 24. We get 3. We get 32. When I add that up, that'll be 7. That'll be 9. That'll be 5. 59. Okay, so what I do with 59?
Divide. Put it on another one.
Okay, so what I get when I divide?
A whole number.
Okay, what's the whole number? 2. Okay, by the way, the most common way formulas are reduced is by 2. So what I do with the 2?
Multiply it by your empirical formula.
So C2, H3, O2. So that'll be C to the
4.
H to the
6.
O to the
4.
That's the part of the video. If you didn't watch last night, that's all it was.
Don't reduce.
Don't reduce, correct. That's all it was. That's all it was to put the two problems together, right there.
Yeah, I forgot.
That's all it was to do question, I think, 3 and 4 on the back side of the homework or the video if you didn't watch it. Okay?
1, 3, and 5.
Correct. I believe that went with 3 and 5 on the back side that you were complaining about.
Okay. Well,
All right, so number 2 on the opening. Take the mass that's given, divide by the mass you add up. What are we adding up?
Yeah.
CH. So how many C's?
1.
How many H's? So times 12 times 1, we get 12. We get 2 for a total of 14. Thank you, my dear. Just lay it on the computer. I've already marked you late, so I didn't even mark you absent. When we divide, we get what? 5. So this means this formula was reduced by 5. All right. So we take the 5 and we multiply it by CH2, and we get C5H10. Questions? Any questions? Do you feel okay about it?
Yes. A little.
Hope you do. Because you don't get your notes on the lab today. Yes, sir. We're going to go over the homework. All right, number 1.
Wait. You just need to switch up really fast.
It's the same order every day. I'm a creature of habit. Nothing changes. Opening, homework, the next activity, whether it be a quiz or, in this case, a mini lab. It's on the board. It's the same order.
You're very organized.
Miss Love puts me to shame.
Miss Love is really right.
She's like anal.
It's ridiculous.
It's kind of scary.
It's kind of
I
scary.
like it. It's very sweet. Like, it makes the class a lot easier.
All right, so if we look at number 1, CH4. CH4.
Yeah.
Number 3, ALPO4. Number 5.
You have a different worksheet.
No, it's not.
Oh, wait.
Turn it over, genius.
Oh, my
This is
God.
what I was
So, wait, can you start over?
Other side. You on the right side now? Did you get CH4?
I was
Okay.
looking at my answers like, wait, what did I do?
And I'm supposed to help you people pass the test. All right. Number 3, ALPO4. Number 5, Na2SO4. So we're good?
Yes.
Now we're turning the paper over. So number 1, N2O4. Did you get that one, Elena? That's like the one, N2O4. That's like the one that you wanted extra on the back side.
You're on your soul.
Okay. Did you get N2O4?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3 is like the one that I did extra on number 1 to combine the problems. C2H4O2. And number 5, C4H8O2.
Okay. Can we do number 5?
Yes.
So at number 5, you have 54.5 grams of C, 9.1 grams of H, and 36.4 grams of O. 12 and 1, 1 and 1, 16 and 1. I'm assuming you got that far. We changed them to moles. Am I okay on that? 54.5 divided by 12, 4.541 moles, 9.1 moles, and 36.4 divided by 16 equals 2.275 moles. All right, from there, we need to divide by the smallest number, so 2.275 moles. That's going to be a 1. That'll be a 1. That's going to be a 2. The question is, what's that going to be? It's going to be a whole number? Yep. All right. So you get C2H4O1. Now, that's the empirical formula. Now you have to use the molar mass, which is 88. All right, so 88 divided by, we have C2H4O. So C had 2, H has 4, O has 1, times 12, times 1, times 16, 24, 4, 16, that's going to be 14, carry my 1 will be 4, so it'll be 44. So 44 into 88 will be 2, so we're going to multiply 2 times C2H4O, not 6.
Yes.
C4H8O2. Does that make sense? All right. Can I do number 3?
Yes.
All right. Number 3, we have 40% C, 12 and 1, 6.7 grams of H, 1 and 1, and 53.5 grams of O, 1 and 16. That's going to be 6.7 moles. All right, so 40 divided by 12, 3.333 moles, and 53.5 divided by 16 will be 3.343 moles. All right, the smallest is going to be what? Divided by 3.33, which will give us 1. 3.33 is going to give us 1. 3.33 is going to give us 2. So C1H2O1. That's the empirical formula. Okay? Now you need to turn around and find the molecular. What mass did they give us? 60. So 60 C1H2O1. All right. So how many C's? 1, 2, 1, 12, 1, 16, it's 12, 2, 16, 0, 30. Again, we get a 2. Now, what would it tell you? What would it tell you if you got a 1 right there?
Wait,
Right there, we're on circle. What would it tell you if you divided and you got a 1 right there?
that it was in molecular and empirical form.
Correct. The empirical and the molecular formula are the same. It would mean it was not reduced at all. Okay? You will get some 1s as we continue through these calculations. They will not all be 2s. Everybody okay with that? It means that we what? I can't hear you, Princess. Well, it means that, like on today's lab, so that you get full credit because you have to show your work, you would just put like a 1 there and multiply it through the formula. So let's just say you had something like, I'm just going to make something up, PCl3. You would show me PCl3. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else on the homework?
Oh my goodness.
Now, you should need 2 sheets of paper to do 5 questions and a bonus. If you're someone who absolutely refuses to write on the back of a sheet of paper, you might need 3. Or if you write really, really large, you might need 3. Okay? The vast majority of you will be fine with 2 sheets of paper. You must show your work. You're going to need a periodic table and an oxidation sheet because you have to have a periodic table, of course, to work the questions. And you have to have an oxidation sheet to write the formula names. You can use yours or no acids on this worksheet. Okay?
Wait, what do you mean name? Oh,
There are names of compounds. Now, Franco, are you caught up or do you feel like you've seen the way? Okay, so Franco's out of the pool, which makes us a nice even group of 18. Franco can either watch a video to catch up or you can make up something from when you were recently out. If you want to make up some work from that, you can take a quiz or something else if you want to work on that. Okay, whatever you feel comfortable doing. All right, so, yes, ma'am. Sure. You want to wait on the directions and then go? Or are you going to be fast? Huh? Okay. So, on the worksheet that I'm handing you, there are 5 compounds. Each of the compounds are worth 20 points. Okay? The bonus is only worth 5 points. Sometimes I have students who get hung up trying to get the answer to the bonus. I understand you like to do bonus questions. However, the bonus is only worth how many points? 5. The questions are worth how many points? 20. The bonus does not outweigh the questions. You have to do the questions. Everybody has to show the work for all 5 questions. So let's just say Serenity and Xavier are partners. Can he do questions 1, 3, and 5, and Serenity do 2, 4 on the bonus, and then turn in separate papers? No. Everybody has to do their 5 questions. Okay? This is to help reinforce what we've been doing. If you get stuck, your partner's there to help you and to work through where you're stuck. It's not about dividing and conquering. Okay? Everybody clear on that? Now, our groups are 2. So let's say that they go to this counter. Nobody else can be at that counter. Okay? We're not groups of 4, we're groups of 2. We're working quietly with each other. We're not shouting at each other so that everybody else can hear what we're doing. So if they grab that counter first, that counter's out. There's 6 counters. There's a table at the back. There's a counter back there. Okay? If all of those get taken, we'll put 2 desks together in the middle of the room. Okay? Everybody clear on that? When you're done, staple it together, give it to me. And then if you've got time, Dr. Wells, the superintendent, would really like y'all to keep voting for football in our free time. Everybody got it? Fabulous. I have 8:43. You might have until 9:30. You go back.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, because Allie, is just wanted to Frank was not up to speed.
Okay.
You got the whole
For
house?
real talk, who needs a partner?
No,
Because
go
I
get
have
it.
Okay, let's take who partner.
Oh, wait.
I can do that. That's not.
Anybody got headphones? Anybody got what? Headphones? No. I got a pair. Or you can get one from Rachel. She's over there. You'd rather have hers. But I have a pair. No, no. Just because people have the modern ones. Yeah, the work on. Yeah, then it's working. All right, does everybody have a partner? Allie, did you find somebody?
Yes.
Very good.
The laptop cart is locked.
Oh, remember kids, here they are. Why are you moving the furniture around? You afraid you're gonna be that tired tonight? No, there are no more stools. Stop trying to move the furniture around. Y'all are not gonna die. If you want to sit, put the butts in the chair like Allie and Zaya are doing.
You said we could put our back.
Back to what? Why don't you put it on separate notebook paper like I told you?
I'm just asking.
Now, when you guys are doing the work, I displayed this. Let me go back for just a second. Okay? You know how I've been showing y'all how to do this?
Yeah.
Part of your grade comes from showing me the work. Okay? Not just the answer. So I should see, for the empirical formula, I should see, number one, on the worksheet, you write the answers. But on your notebook paper, I should see empirical formula. Then I should see the numbers, whatever they are. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it 14? I don't care if you don't write the name on the notebook paper, but I should see all the work worked out on the notebook paper. All the work for empirical formula. Box in what the empirical formula is. All the work for molecular formula. Box it in so I can find it. Some of y'all's handwriting is bad, but I should be able to find all the work pretty easily. Okay?
They're perfect for about big ears.
These are what?
Perfect for about big ears.
Glad you like me. Now, remember, I should not be able to tell who's talking. Y'all should be talking quietly to your partner.
The only reason why I hesitated is because I knew that you would make the game. That's the only reason why you didn't know. But I don't do it. I'm not like, I don't do it. When I see that, okay, so I'm using it.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to take so. Nobody gets to Did we test on Wednesday? Yes.
Yes, it is.
What?
Do we round?
Yeah, you can round, that's fine. Hey, y'all talk about me yesterday?
Yeah, we will.
We talked about you regularly.
Every day.
I didn't hear those.
They're worried you should just drop out this semester.
Huh?
I said they're worried you should just drop out this semester.
Maybe I should change all my courses to online courses.
Here, just do it on work back.
Okay.
I make corrections on some of them.
Yeah. I'll get that.
I don't. It'd be specific, but I don't know.
So it's okay if we just work it out?
Yeah, once you're working out on your sheet paper,
And put it on.
and you can write the answers on the direction sheet, that's fine.
So we don't have to put in.
Write the answer on both. That way I can find the work that goes with the answer. Because some of y'all's handwriting work is terrible. But if the answer's there, I can usually match the answer to the work. Some of y'all are just not very organized, for instance. I would like to think yours is, but I have to show you some really bad examples.
Anyone's name.
Okay, so then, so that's
What does it mean? Do you want us to? You only have to write the name for molecular, right?
Remember what I told you yesterday? You can use molecular or empirical. You can use stock or old.
So it doesn't matter, as long as we write it for one of them.
As long as you write it correctly. I do not care which system you use.
Okay, good, it's like on record, like.
Remember what I told you. If you use stock, what is the greatest Roman number you can use? So, old systems, sometimes we name it with empirical, sometimes we name it with molecular, which is why I'm not a fan of old systems.
Yeah.
Stock, you never have a Roman number that's greater than what? And you always have to find usually the original oxidation number, unless it exceeds.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. That makes sense. So we would take it to write it.
I don't know.
Metal, it has to have. Yeah, but it doesn't. We use old.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Yeah. You use my what? As long as you bring it back.
So they everyone gets to accept Thank you.
Oh, 36.
Oh, that's why.
Don't worry.
Just be.
Yes, my friend.
No.
She worse than me. Every time I go.
Then you do something. Oh my. I have like 15 minutes. After a minute, like, yeah. Usually that's it, guys. You want to move to
It's okay if we just like keep it at whole numbers,
What?
like more in math. Okay.
After I divide it into 12.
Oh, this thing.
You can change it.
Miss Wall, did you say we need to put your name on our paper? Like on the regular short work?
Yeah.
Okay, just put it on this one.
You're gonna staple it all together.
No, like the actual name. So you want us to put it on here?
As long as it's on that paper, it's fine.
I added one for the You have to read. What?
No, it's just got, in the video, you're like, my lab partner is usually vertical. Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Oh, wait.
Not yet.
We're not running.
I mean, wait a second. What did that mean?
Pedro.
Oh, okay.
Y'all talking about Drew?
Yeah.
I heard you used to go, oh.
What's he doing?
It's 2.27.
Somebody Drew. At the same time.
Something at Waffle House.
You drove me to the back of Waffle House, so he's confused.
So what else did you do?
You just hear in the back.
Like, no.
It's all right. You got a mistake somewhere. Either you only have Molc and have to guys about the smallest number. Or you got a mistake. Divided by the smallest number.
Have it up there for me.
And you're not rounding down to anything.
You know.
I get it.
It's like it's so funny.
Well, the other day when I was catching up on the videos, I felt like I was in class. I was talking to my teammates. Like, I don't know why. I felt like I was like, she said something, and I was like, oh, it's, I was like, I feel stupid.
Yes.
Oh, it's gonna be too. I know. Okay, so this is.
There's suspending people.
Wait, Ms. Wall,
Yeah.
if it's like 2.9, you get 10 million, it would be, you would do the negative.
I don't know.
And when you get it was
Oh, we're supposed to work this out. Okay.
Carbon 2,
what did you put?
carbon 4,
Carbon.
carbon 2. Wait.
Whereas
No, sometimes they're like.
Yeah. Miss Wall, whenever you're naming, do you do it for the vehicle or the
You can choose either, but you gotta choose the right one based on the system you chose.
okay, like for example, like if there's I don't say
Which system did I tell you you can always use?
Since stock, I mean, like
Yep, and what Roman numeral's the highest you can pick?
7.
That'll help you narrow it down.
Okay. No. So okay, we choose stock, but which one do we do it for? I'm gonna guess. But like.
You have to have the original oxidation number,
Okay.
but it cannot be higher than what number?
7.
Okay,
So the original molecular
That's the
speed.
original.
but it can't be higher than what?
7.
Okay,
Carbon. Carbon 4. Sorry.
One back.
Michaela, I should not hear you talking.
Yeah, that's why I said sorry.
That's what
He was next to
Miss Paul,
Yeah,
okay, I got a separate sheet of paper like you said, but can I use the back of the separate sheet?
yes, you can.
Okay.
That's why I said, you can use the back, I don't care.
Then when you said that, I thought you meant the back of the sheet.
Yeah, I just don't want it on the back of the sheet. It's easier to read most of y'all's handwriting on line paper.
Okay.
That's fine. Some of y'all write neatly enough to do that. It's just not the majority of my students.
No, I'll do that.
But if it's said it to me, well, I can say that to you.
I just asked you, but that's how I right?
Yeah,
I put the number down wrong. Right.
Wait, no.
Like the salt?
Yes.
Whoa. They don't have water. I was looking at it. They need to drink. See, like somebody you just gotta do the thing.
So you said we could round it, right? Like when we did the grams to moles, we could round it instead of using like the atomic mass we get.
Oh, what, the math, like, where it's got decimals going around the whole number?
Yeah,
Yes, you can.
like.
Yes, sorry, I had to get on the same page. Yes.
I just get it.
Sure. Just gotta make it correctly. You guys have about 17 minutes.
They got about 7.
It's lunch. One of
I ate too fast. Not the car, but we're home. Still good though. I had to think. I'm just like like throat. You ever had that? I did better. I just ate too fast. That's my first time.
Wait, what happened if our Roman numeral is higher than 7?
Can't be higher than 7.
Then you didn't use the other one?
What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
You got 2.25 right?
You said you can't get like the books and
Do you like to do multiplication with that? I like that.
Oh, I was actually.
I want all raise every bonus. Bonus for a raise.
Wait, really?
Bonus for a raise.
Oh,
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm not giving you anything on the bonus pickle. You're on your own with that. That's why it's called a bonus.
I know he named it like that. I don't know if that's-
Okay. Wait.
Oh.
She said, he's been keeping me up to date. And you like, he said he's been watching the videos, and you're like, I doubt that. I don't think so, but I. You know what I did watch it yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
It is forget.
Huh?
Was you the box at the three?
He did it. He did it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
When I get to rep little kids, like 7-year-olds,
Where you wrote it?
I'm with repping Winston. I think it's gonna be funny. Like, we play like 7 8 quarters. Something like that. I just get to see little kids that are, I don't think I'm gonna have to bubble this one.
Ryan got here's the mark.
Yes, I could have wanted to say. It is kind of, yeah. That's my report. What? Okay. Yes.
Enough to round out.
Yeah, this one I got 0.681, and the other 0.6810, and then the other one was 6.6809. Do I just round that one up to?
Yeah, deciding to divide by them and get ones. You gotta divide by the smallest number. You don't round those whole number shit. You're getting, those are numbers of moles. I recognize those numbers from yesterday. Those are the numbers of moles.
Are we supposed to know how to do
All right, now, keep going.
There's a twist to it. That's why it's called bonus.
All right, so,
this? I don't know yet. Right, I have a hit twist down.
It's not much of one.
So, okay.
Remember, part of it's a twist. I didn't make a calculation of the twist. Could be in the naming.
The naming is what messes me up this fall.
Well, fix it.
I had 3.4, so you said I can be extremely close to the number.
3.49.
Yeah.
3.5. So 3.5 is a half. So you multiply all of them by 2.
Oh, okay, okay.
You read it. I took math one, math two.
We had a test yesterday. Miss Lab, the day before that. Here are the 2 review sheets that I checked. And is this in class and practice? Which missed a lab and a test. Yep. Since I've got test solutions. Y'all have 4 minutes.
This one, we still need a calculator? Okay.
No. At least I wouldn't think you needed to multiply or add.
So y'all just have to no, you didn't you just literally say about the same, you guys had one. Never mind.
How much time? 30 minutes?
What do you mean?
One of them we put 5 instead of 3.
Two times 2.5 is 5.
Yes.
Now,
Oh, they're all.
2 times 2.5 is 5.
That's because you got the same time. You said how many minutes we have left?
2.
I keep saying
Yes.
Oh, this one.
should be.
3, 9, 9.
Like the big deal.
Same thing?
That's 48. 48.
That's great.
You need to be wrapping up the question you're on.
So I'm pretty sure like.
Your papers have to be stapled and on my desk at 9:30.
I know what she means by gold.
I got 9:29. So you need to be coming my direction with your papers.
It's okay. I am a team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what we
Yeah.
was hardest to
Okay,
find out.
I'm gonna do. Wait, what's
I think it's one.
I have almost 9:30. Papers. You can put your calculators up. I'm pretty sure you're not going to need them. I can't imagine you would need them to multiply anything we're doing today. Well, I'm not sure we'll actually get to balancing after we finish the next portion.
Did you get it? Yeah.
Yep. Nope. Nope.
I told you.
Oh, did you take out the word?
It makes you feel so accomplished, so motivated.
All papers on my desk. Not fast enough.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put my computer outside.
Yeah. And you're allowed to guess it.
Okay.
Good, you good.
Do we got calculators anymore?
No, because we'll be lucky to get to balancing after we do the notes portion.
Balancing. You want more space?
Yeah, after we do the whole unit on chemical equations, we'll come back to the math. Come on, guys. On my desk.
You said you checked this?
No, I didn't. I didn't check on work because I knew I was going to be grading the lab today, so I figured if you did it great, you know what you were doing. If you didn't, you didn't. Or of course, just put it away. That way you don't pocket that. If you have my calculators, bring them up here, turn them in so they don't get knocked off the desk. If you have your own calculator, put it away so you don't abuse your own calculator. Because I do not think we'll get far enough that you will need a calculator to multiply or add.
Wait, no. Right. When you have our test.
Those are 11.
Something smells like a bird. I'm gonna do that.
All right. Where's my last calculator? Just like on my desk. Why you got the last calculator?
I got it.
Oh, you put it up today? Who's got my last calculator? Who? All right. So the math you just did is on the quiz Monday. And then you will not see it again. You listen? It's on the quiz Monday. And then you will not see it again until, not on this next test, the test beyond that.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry. It'll be on the stoichiometry test when we mix all the different types of stoichiometry.
Geometry.
Yeah, I know. Imagine that. The next test will only have chemical equations on it. It will not have any math other than multiplying and adding when you figure out how to balance equations. Okay? So, Those of you who don't like the math, other than being able to multiply and add, the next test will only have chemical equations. So we're going to start our chemical reaction unit. Now, back in probably middle school, yeah, chemical reactions, you probably learned about the parts of a chemical equation. Tell me what parts make up this chemical equation. All right, there are subscripts. We'll talk about what that tells us in a minute. What else? There's three major parts up there that I want to hear the words for. The left side, the right side, and the arrow. Products are one. Where are the products at?
The left.
The right.
Okay, they're on the right.
The reactants.
First of all, for those of us who are directionally challenged, and I taught driver's ed for 5 years early in my teaching career, and my favorite story was when Walmart was at the old location, and we sat in the left turn lane, and I told a child to go to turn, and she was like, "What direction do you want me to go?" In the left turn lane. "What direction do you want me to go, Miss Wall?" I was Miss Holzleiner at that point. They were like, "I don't know." I said, "We're in the left turn lane."
I would be scared if you were my driver.
I was much nicer in the car. And I was like, "We're in the left turn lane." I'm like, "I still don't know what direction to go."
I wasn't directionally challenged. I was just dumb and thought they were on the other side.
I get it.
Oh.
But if I told you we were in the left turn lane, would you know what direction to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, they didn't. They went straight when the light turned green.
Sometimes on my little, when I have directions to go somewhere, it tells me to turn left and I turn right on exit. But sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. But not in
Is that
this
the
instance.
reactants?
All right, yes. So in an equation, left and right will be important to us. So for those of you who are directionally challenged or forget left and right will be important in this unit, okay? Or really for the rest of the semester. The left side, because eventually we'll have arrows that go backwards and forwards, and we're going to talk about symbols in a little while. The right side is always referred to as the products, okay? The products are on the right, since I wrote right up there. All right, it's on the right of the arrow. Doesn't matter how many compounds you have, but it's always the right of the arrow. The reactants are always the left of the arrow. Okay? Now, does anybody remember what the arrow itself is called? Most people remember that too from middle school. Starts with a Y. There you go. The arrow is called the yield. It's called the yield sign. Now, does anybody remember what these things are?
No. I've never seen
Okay, those tell you the states.
this. Yeah.
And I don't mean North Carolina and Tennessee. All right? So, they stand for S and G, so S and G would refer to what states?
Solid.
Solid and gas. Okay?
I did not even think of that.
Woo! Got some work to do. Now,
Maybe I do need a headache every day.
I told you, that was firing on all cylinders yesterday. So, we're going to talk about some of the symbols that go in an equation, and then we'll talk about balancing. Now, I will also forewarn you on the test. There are 3 questions about these symbols we're getting ready to talk about. That's 6 points. Some of you will never look at them again. I will remind you before the test that they're on the test. You will still ignore me and never look at them again. And y'all will write down some of the most creative answers I've ever seen, and you will still lose 6 points.
Wait, they're not multiple choice?
The next 2 tests are entirely free response.
Oh my, Woo. Yeah.
All right, so you flip to where mine are so I don't forget anything. I tend to forget. And we'll do a real lab with what y'all just did if the state ever approves the budget and the magnesium comes in. That's nice. It's not very expensive. I mean, we only need like $30, but the budget is frozen until the state approves it. All right. So, some symbols we will use throughout the semester that you're responsible for knowing in a chemical reaction. First of all, that's a yield sign. At the end of the semester, we're going to talk about equilibrium. And so we will draw arrows that go two ways like this. And this means it's a reversible reaction. And that's why I emphasize that the left side is the reactants and the right side is the products. It does not matter left versus right. The left is the reactants. The products are on the right. You cannot argue, oh, the arrows go both ways, Ms. Wall. So technically, the right side could be the reactants. Yes, in a reversible reaction, that is true. However, the left is the reactants, the right are the products. All right? We have states. S, reaction, and I will abbreviate RXN for reaction the entire semester. L stands for what? Liquid. G is gas. AQ stands for aqueous, which means dissolved in water. So unless you're actually drinking water, you're drinking something that's aqueous. Okay, it's dissolved in water.
So much your one is aqueous?
Correct. So what now?
Do you know, like saltwater fish, do they drink like salt? I mean, they have to drink saltwater. Okay, I was trying to, well, everybody's right. I was trying to, like, because we had this discussion where I was thinking, like, because, you know, every animal needs water, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so do the fish just, like how do they get it?
It comes into their gills,
The
right?
water passes through their gills, but I do not know how it filters the salt or anything else.
Oh, they get fish stuff.
I'm going to major in fish studies.
Okay. You'd have to ask a biology teacher about how it passes through the gills and filters. Okay, that's all I know about the fish. Okay, they don't actually drink the water through their mouth the way we do. That's all I got for you.
I was like, they should probably drink more if that's the case because I think the glaciers are like melting.
Moving on. CR stands for crystalline solid. All right, instead of just saying solid, we could say CR for crystalline solids because we'll learn later in the semester there are two kinds of solids and crystalline is one of them. Now, we can also use different kinds of arrows. For example, we can say up arrow or down arrow. If we say up arrow beside a compound, like let's say we wrote it beside PbCl2, that means a solid or a precipitate is produced.
Which one for the arrows?
Yep, that arrow right there. PbCl2 is just an example, but you write it beside a compound. Okay, it's not an arrow, just a plain arrow.
What's the symbol?
Okay, the symbol is the up arrow.
Just the up arrow.
The up arrow, that's an example. Here, I'll put EX beside it. Okay? The down arrow is an example, would be like putting it beside CO2. CO2 we know is a what? What's CO2? It's a gas. So if we put CO2 beside a down arrow, what are we doing? Giving off a,
Yes.
that's right, so you give off a gas.
So down is giving gas.
Yep.
And up is solid.
Up is a, oops, I did it backwards.
Oh, Miss
Oh.
I'm writing pen.
Whoops. Whoops. Hey, at least I figured it out quickly. It's not like I left it there for days. I got whiteout. I'll give you whiteout. Yeah. Do you know how to use the tape kind before you destroy my dispenser?
Now you got to explain that again because I'm confused.
All right. The down means you make solid. As soon as I wrote the gas, I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Like the hell comes down from the sky.
The gas is given off. Okay, a gas is given off, which is why we use an up arrow.
And then the hail comes down from the sky.
Yeah, I cannot use that.
If you want to think of it that way, okay. I don't think in those terms, but okay, that works for me.
No, hail doesn't come down in the experiment. But
No,
Bro, what if it did?
I guess you could think of it as the solid is heavy, so it sinks down in the test tube. I mean, yeah, I can see that. We were supposed to play with magnesium, but again,
is that the only one?
no, we'll do another one later, but we don't do as much as physical science does. I'll just put that out there. All right, what have I forgotten? We did the arrows. We did those. Oh, the stuff on top of the arrows. Everybody got those? Hurry up, people.
I'm sorry. It's your fault. You did it wrong. Now we gotta fix it.
Yeah, it's all your.
It has taken that long to white something out?
I can't use that.
It takes usage.
I will break it. I don't know. It's just.
Oh, well,
Hey, where'd it go?
Don't let her touch it then if she'll break it.
what happening?
Don't matter what you look like.
Wait, what is that?
Triangle.
Okay. So, an arrow with a triangle on top of it. You actually have to do it 4? This is like me and
I break
Thornhill.
it every time.
You're like Miss Thornhill. She can't use it either.
Thank you.
That's why you gotta get the one with the 8.
What is it down?
The down arrow is a solid is formed. Precipitate is formed. All right, so if you have a triangle on top of an arrow.
Wait, is this a part of the symbols as well?
Yes. I just ran out of space. All right, so if you have a triangle on top of the arrow, it means heat is added. Okay, so if a reaction has to be heated, instead of writing it at the end, we just put a triangle on it. Yes. I'm giving you a week and a half to learn them. All right, so 2.
And the way I was looking at that triangle, thinking he was that.
Right.
Now, the ATM stands for atmospheres. We're going to do more of that later in the semester. All right, so 2 atmospheres of pressure is added. The room is roughly 1 atmosphere. Okay, so if I say 2 atmospheres, it means I had to increase the pressure in order to get the reaction to occur. Some reactions occur without increasing the pressure, some don't. So if we need to get a reaction to occur with more pressure, we'll write the amount of pressure on top of the arrow. Now, the last one is one you probably remember from biology class. Yes. If you add a catalyst,
Oh.
we often write it on the arrow. What's a catalyst again? What's it do?
Oh, react.
There you go.
Speed up react.
Very good, Xavier. Instead of using Michaela's fast definition, we'll write it speeds up a reaction. All right, it does make it faster. All right, but it speeds up a reaction. That's what MnO2 does. It's just an example. We could have written enzymes up there because that's probably what most of you remember from biology class is about enzymes and digestion. Okay, Elena's like, I don't remember nothing. All right, did I forget anything?
R, X, and B.
No, I did them all. All right, I got all the symbols. Now, Xavier's like, when do we have to know these by? The test. Okay? We will not test next week. It will be early the following week. Huh? Monday. I already said that. All right, does everybody have the symbols? All right, so to balance, we have one rule. We have to obey. Now, I'm fairly certain I'm teaching, so why are y'all talking?
We are more.
All right, so tell me, what you remember about that law from another science class. Because you've done it probably in almost every science class. What is the law of constant? What has to be? Oh, hush. All right. What has to be equal about both sides? What number? Okay, we're going to go there with that, but can anybody tell me what the actual law says? Because that's what it's going to translate into. All right, Michaela said it's got to be equal on both sides. We're going to translate it that way in a minute when it comes to balancing. But what does the law say? Anybody?
Isn't it like whenever it put force on an object, the object is supposed to like put that force back?
Okay, you've got one of Newton's laws.
Right.
All right, that's the third law. All right, which is great that you remember that. That's just not this one. So mass is not. Okay.
Isn't it not lost or added?
Yes, there's two words I'm looking for that we always use in this particular
Negative or positive.
C or D.
What?
Those aren't words, those are letters.
No, I know. The words start with C and D.
You idiot.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too.
Matter is not C or D.
Oh, it's not,
What?
destroyed or created.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Mom said that. I don't know about the
All right. Matter is not created or destroyed. And this could just as easily have said mass, because that's the way I wrote the definition. All right. Matter is not created or destroyed in ordinary chemical reactions, which is why I said what Michaela said was okay. If you start with 4 of something on the left, you have to finish with what on the right? 4, because we're not creating or destroying matter. Yes, my dear.
What did you underline that for?
What? Because the law of conservation of mass?
Yeah.
Because that's the rule we have to obey in every
What
reaction.
made me think that like you were about to divide it?
No, I'm not dividing it. That was like the definition. All right, so to further explain that, if there are 4 FEs on the left, there must be 4 FEs on the right. Okay, so that's going to be our challenge of balancing. How do we get that to work? If there's 4 on one side, how do we get 4 on the other side? Okay, that's where we're going. Now, since we only have about 4 minutes left in class, I don't think I can teach you how to balance in 4 minutes. So, to reiterate what Sumatra asked a minute ago, what's your homework?
Study.
Just to make sure you can do the quiz. It's your last math quiz until we do the stoichiometry unit after equations.
Just all basically like the lab we just did. Yeah. Okay.
As long as you can do it, then you're good to go for Monday.